strong.
G'day everyone, welcome back to a long-awaited episode of the return of Real Talks with Rish. It's been a while. It's been about, I think, 4 or 5 weeks since I recorded last, but
Too long, mate.
yeah, too long, bro. Yeah, but as promised, we've got another guest here, and it took a while to find a time, but finally we got there in the end. Please welcome one of my greatest friends from college, Sam. Yeah.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Sam. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again, Rishi.
Nice.
Only saw you last week.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It's been a minute, and I know how much of a fan you are of the podcast.
Yeah,
brother.
mate.
So,
Watched every episode.
my man. That's my man.
You know.
So I appreciate you being here, man. And I've got a lot to talk about that I want to hear your insights on because as you're aware, we went to college together and we connected really well back then.
Your mum was my science teacher.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
good.
Oh, it's all good, brother.
Damn, bro.
Oh, Producer Barry back at it again, right? Scared, bro. All right, Tui, thanks, man. So I just wanted to, touch up on. We've got a lot to cover. So, firstly, take us through, man, your background and where you're from.
How I got to Australia and stuff, pretty much.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I was not born here, so moved here when I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. So what is that? First gen immigrant? Or second gen? First gen?
I think it's in your case it's second gen, I believe.
Oh yeah,
but
right.
maybe your father and your parents, it'll be first generation.
Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't born here, so I was born in Cambodia.
Oh wow, yeah, right.
Down on the coast, near the Gulf of Thailand.
Yeah.
So I've always been like a beach boy, outdoorsy kind of guy. So yeah, I lived in Cambodia for like a year. Yeah. And then I moved to Vietnam with my dad on the coast of Vietnam for a bit. Yeah. And then he got married around when I was like 4 or 5. And then because of that, we moved to Australia. And that's when, came to Australia, very foreign land, didn't know English. Like, had to really start from kind of the bottom.
Yeah.
Because we had nothing. And where I came from, the background I'm from, at the time, Cambodia, Vietnam, they're kind of recovering for what was happening from the period of war and stuff with Cambodia going through the Khmer Rouge Empire where, 2 million people died in 5 years. So their economy, their like structure in their country was kind of rebuilding. So, both my mum's side and my father's side both lived through those experiences. So it's kind of like rough for them. And on the Vietnam side, obviously the Vietnam War and stuff. So, there's a whole lot of shit going on back home.
Really, yeah.
Obviously super grateful being able to come to Australia.
Yeah.
But just because we're here, it wasn't easy. Like, still trying to fit in, especially as a young child, no English and stuff. Going through kindergarten. I repeated kindergarten because I didn't know any English. So obviously the teachers thought out of my best interest, it's probably best if I repeated just to, try to catch up to the other kids. But yeah, that's how I got started here in Australia.
That's really interesting, man. And you touch on a lot of key elements there and important points that I think, I can resonate with you having, as an immigrant myself, right? Coming, I guess in my case, it was more like my parents early on, they moved from India to New Zealand where I was born, right?
How long did you live in New Zealand?
Dude, I was there for, I think, 4 or 5 years, but that time was really rough though, because unfortunately back then, from what I heard from my parents, there was a lot of indirect racism there, not really judging, people that came overseas. Obviously we were like
back then it's probably be a lot worse than it is now because people weren't as like open-minded and obviously aware about like, you know,
the
people
struggles.
like us.
And my parents were students, right? So it was me and my brother, and we were both little. And obviously, I can't remember, right, like the struggle because it was so early. But from what they were saying and what they were talking about, it was definitely, it wasn't an easy road, man, for sure. So you know, they were students, as I said, you know, trying to put food on the table, right, which they were, and it was just an amazing. It's just an amazing story, especially hearing it from my mum and dad, sort of sharing their experiences of like what Australia has meant to them. And that's why I really love Australia a lot, in terms of like, as you get older, right, you understand more about your culture, you understand more about, you know, where you came from, what your background is. And I just feel that, I think, you know, it's one of those things where I really resonate and I really appreciate and of how grateful I am to be in a country like Australia.
Yeah, and have the opportunities and stuff.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, well, basically I'm very lucky how I like came to Australia. So basically, after the wars of like the Cambodian War and the Vietnam War, countries like New Zealand, Australia, America, and a lot of the European countries were taking war refugees from those countries.
Yeah.
And basically, my dad's partner, her side came to Australia first because they were able to, you know, get through the system of the war refugees, and they were, you know, able to come to Australia. It was either America or Australia, but you know, obviously they came to Australia. And who knows if they went to America, I'll probably still be fucking in Cambodia or Vietnam, still selling rice and doing I don't know, just poor people things.
Oh, bro, don't say that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, but like, when I say I'm like poor, like I actually mean it. When I was in, Dad would tell me like, he had no money, and when I was born, we were born in like, or I was born in like a little stilt like house. Like, do you know what a stilt house is?
Is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but are those the houses that are like built with straw and stuff?
Yeah. I was built on like one of those farm stilt houses because we just didn't have it. We were like that for like,
damn.
Like,
do you remember that?
Nah, I didn't. So my mom passed away when I was like really young, 8 months old.
Yeah.
In Cambodia, which is why I moved to Vietnam. So she passed away because it's all good, man. Makes me a strong person and gives me a reason to like, you know, live for someone other than myself. Like, you know.
Damn.
But basically she got sick, and Dad we didn't have money, and Cambodia back then, coming out of the war, that there was the health system, it was non-existent. Like, you know, there's no Medicare.
Yeah.
Like, there's no Medicare in Cambodia. Plus, like, the country back then was so corrupt. Like,
I'm sure it would have been. And it's like, you know, if you weren't like at the 5 or 10% like rich people, then you're just not, you wouldn't even be regarded as a normal citizen.
Exactly. They just thought you of like dirt. Much.
Bro, India's the same.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But again, relating that experience, you know, you've clearly articulated that you've been through a lot of struggle and a lot of looking out for yourself, right? And I think that has influenced and that has shaped you up to be the person who you are now, right? Which I think is a very commendable effort, because, you know, in your case, you know, you're living with your dad now, right? But you've had a period of time where you were living by yourself in, you know, weren't you were traveling as well, I think in Asia, right? Like for a year or something like that. And personally, like even now, I couldn't even do that because I'm just like, I'm really close with mum and dad. Like just the thought of like leaving them or like just spending time away from them. Like
helped that I'm only child as well.
Yeah, so. Interesting.
So,
no, that's really deep, man. And look, again, like, you know, I think it's you're doing very well for yourself now.
Yeah,
and
I think like I said, I'm super grateful for being like Australia, you know, I went to uni.
100%, man.
You know, about to start like a job next year.
Yeah, like, that's my man.
You know, always got like, you know, opportunities coming. So like, just got to take those small things and just be grateful for it.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've always, I mean, I've been saying to you since day one, but like one of the things that I've always told you from the start is your ability to remain calm and like your ability to be like very centered with yourself.
I think it's
like,
good.
Where does that come from?
It can also be like bad.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to show like you're weak, but like as humans, I think it's okay to sometimes show emotions and like, if you're angry, you're angry. Like it's okay to like, show that you're angry.
Yeah.
And like, you don't really need to put up this image of brave. I'm Sam. I'm never like, angry or like whatever, but I think like being calm in like a lot of situations, I think it's just from my upbringing. Like, I've dealt with a lot of shit in my childhood, and I'm like, man, this thing doesn't faze me.
Yeah, I've been crazy. Worse, that's crazy.
Like, yeah, bro. I've been through worse. Like, I've been the worst in people. So, like, dealing with some situations where other people might be mad, or I'm just like, it's whatever.
That's crazy. Man. That's insane, man. Like, and again, I allude to my earlier point of where you said that because you've been through such a struggle early on, like the stuff that happens, in your life now, day to day, whether it's work, whether it's work, you haven't underperformed or whatever, that that's nothing compared to what you've been through.
Yeah, and I think it's also like developed my like empathetic nature.
Yeah.
Like when someone's down bad, like I kind of relate to that because like I know what it's like to be like literally at the bottom of the barrel and having to like work yourself back up.
Yeah.
So like when I see someone down bad, like I try to help them or like just give them words of encouragement because like there's little bits of hope during those like dark times can really help someone.
And that goes a long way, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you just give a glimmer of hope, like aside from religion and whatever,
if
you just give a sign of you're just willing to help or donate money or whatever it is, it literally makes someone's life.
Yeah, it shows them like you care.
You care, man. Yeah. No, that's dope, man. That's dope. I think one of the other things I really wanted to touch on, man, was I guess your friendships, right? So like you've always historically, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you've always sort of maintained, I guess, a similar group of friends, right, through high school and college. And obviously, Canberra's a small world. We know a lot of people ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, did your friends group sort of influence the person who you are today?
Did my friend group influence who I am today?
Yeah, like I'll word it more as like, did they have like a say, or did they have sort of like an influence over like your personality, or you were very like, this is who I am, like I'm not shaped by anyone, like if you like me, you like me, if you don't, you don't?
I think so I've been fortunate enough to have very supportive friends, friends that made me just comfortable like who I am as a person, so I'm very grateful for that. But I'm pretty set on who I am, if that makes sense. Like they've never really like influenced like who I am as a person. They've always allowed me to just be me, and that's I'm super grateful for that. Like I'm able to freely express myself and like, but certain times, obviously, when I'm around other people,
things change, right?
Things change. Like you can't like kind of change your accent a bit. Not accent, but like the way you talk a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I've just been like who I am as a person, and my friends allowed me, given me a safe space to just be myself. Pretty much.
Bro, I love that, man.
So yeah,
that's dope, man. Yeah, myself as well, man. Like I think that I'm really grateful that I went to Hawker because like, it was a very small college, right? I think it still is, right? But and I think everyone that sort of went there, like we all sort of gelled well together, so even if we weren't from like different friends group and stuff. Because I still remember to this day, man, year 12 formal dog, like we were all in that one area. Like everyone was at the museum, right? But I think most like 80% of the people cried when that slideshow came on.
Yeah,
like the memories we had in year 11 and 12. And that just really showed me, I got a bit emotional as well at the time, but like, it just showed that how good of, people are. And I think that year group that we were in was just very, was very good at it, and it certainly helped me a lot of the way. Like, I'll be honest with you, man, like from that time I only probably keep in contact with you and maybe like 2 other people, because I get like the side where people sort of move on with life, right? And over time people get into relationships, want to move out of Canberra and stuff. But the one thing that I always respected for you, man, is you've always, I'm not saying other people weren't there for me, but like you've always actively, checked up on me, and I've done the same to you as well. And you've always been like a real one since day one,
Was you grow up, say you're going to college together, university, you're kind of put in that bubble. True. You're kind of forced to
meet people,
to keep in contact with your friend.
Yeah.
But as you grow older and stuff, it obviously takes a lot more effort and stuff. And I think like, the people like who stick around are normally the people who make an effort to keep in contact with each other. And that's like, you and I, we keep in contact with each other.
Yeah.
Like we could like not talk to each other for like
6 months or whatever.
When we do catch up though, like, we're back on track.
We're back on track. That's right. Yeah, no, 100%. And that's again like what the whole purpose behind this podcast is. And thanks to everyone out there for viewing it. I know there's surprisingly people that I don't really talk to, like, much, and they've been saying, oh, I really like this specific part where you talk with Muda, who was the first guest I had on about spirituality, right? So I really appreciate everyone tuning in and listening. And sort of going back to the topic at hand, what would you like? What advice, I guess, would you probably give to your younger self, if there was any, in terms of like things that you could change? Was there like anything that you sort of felt like maybe, like, we're still both young, right? We're still like 23, 24, right? But like, I guess if we backtrack time, like if we're back in the college days or something, would there be something that you'd probably look at, whether it's studies differently, whether it's friendships differently, or anything like that? Because I know I've got a couple of things that I'd definitely fall back on that. Differently.
So I think in recent years I've definitely become a lot more comfortable in my own skin, like who I am as a person.
Love that.
I think growing up, especially as an immigrant, person of color, person who didn't know any English, you're kind of stuck in this like middle area, like gray area between like trying to fit in, and then you have this other culture which is like whatever your original culture is. So you're always trying to find ways to fit in. So I've it sounds bad, but I know I felt like growing up as going through primary school, going through college and stuff, I've always I guess like wanted to fit in. I would get into things that I wasn't really interested in, but like I just did it because I wanted to be accepted. And I think that's a lot of immigrant kids can probably relate to that, just wanting to assimilate, wanting to fit in. So I got into this sport because all these guys was doing it. I got into this subgenre because I saw the cool kids do it. I wanted to be cool as well. Like, but really, like, getting into those things, trying to, like, make people like you and stuff, and, like, doing things that's not really like you is, like, one of the things that I really struggled with, like, especially during college and stuff, when you're still, like, trying to discover yourself. So, just being, just accept who you are, and just like don't try to like be someone else, be someone that you're not.
For real, man. That's interesting, man, because like, and my opinion to that is slightly different, where I felt like I personally did the same thing as you did, right? Did certain sports or like hang out with certain people to be part of the cool kids. But I feel like I'm grateful that I had those experiences, because that taught me the person of who I actually truly am. You know what I'm saying? Because then like afterwards, like, as you get older in life, like especially probably when I was, I don't know, maybe 21 when I finished uni, that's when I started like in the workforce, right? That's when I really realized that, I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm happy with who I am. And if people want to ride with me, that's cool. If they don't want to ride with me, that's all good as well. Because I've got like I'm, and again, like I'm really grateful. Like I've got a loving family as well. You know, mum and dad have been super supportive of me and my brother. And also, yeah, like I think, yeah, as you just go through life, you start to realize that your priorities are different as you get older. So, like, and again, this is probably gonna a bit of advice to you, because I know you're starting you're starting in like the workforce pretty soon, which is again, it's amazing news as well, brother.
Thanks.
But one thing that I'll probably tell you is, like, because when I started, like, in corporate workforce, I was very like keen to like put the suit on, rock the shoes, look good, go out,
When I'm going
and
to
just
the workforce, I'm like, bro, a bit of me is like,
yeah,
I got to hide a bit of myself.
yeah,
but it shouldn't be like that.
Shouldn't be like that. No.
Yeah, you should be able to freely just be who you are.
And that's what my advice to you, man, is like, when you start, right, or wherever you're going, just be yourself, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't try, like, if someone's like being, I guess, a bit too professional or whatever, just, and like, obviously be professional, but also you don't want to lose the elements of yourself, right?
Yeah.
So
it makes you and stuff.
That's it, man. I'll give you an example, right? Like, what I do, like I do work in cybersecurity consulting, and I also do acting as well, and have my podcast, right? And this is something that I just picked up actually, and you were actually a big inspiration to that, because, and again, we'll touch on this a bit later, but your creative field and how much you love photography, and what you're doing in that space as well, which we'll touch on later. But what my point is, like, if you just have conversations with people at work, and you're not that kind of guy that just, and I'm not saying like, people who just work, like, what's the old saying? Like, who live to work is a bad thing, but that's just not me.
Dude, if you're like a doctor or something, you obviously live to work, because a doctor's your life. Being a doctor's your life. There's nothing wrong with living to work.
But that's not our personality.
That's not our personality.
Yeah. So what I was saying earlier is that I think, when I'm talking to people at work, they're like, oh, like, would you get up till the weekend? I was like, oh, I shot a podcast, and, I had an acting gig. Just having those conversations with people, it actually increases my social skills as well, because then they're actually interested in what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think, the whole reason I said that is because, like, I feel like, because you're so creative, man, and I've seen, your videos on Instagram as well, and your photography stuff as well, and that's all amazing stuff, and you're very, like, smart and very unique in that style.
I think that kind of goes back to like my point where I was trying a lot of different things, like, figuring out who I am. That kind of like helped with developing like what I really liked and what I didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's it, man. And exactly to your point, man. Like, I think the ultimate goal, right, is if you can realize what your passion is, which you do realize it, right, and link that to making a living out of it. I think that's what your true purpose is, right? Like,
I mean, I'm kind of like halfway there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, in the job I'm going to, hopefully, it's pretty much like communications and media. It's pretty much
spot on.
What I do on the interwebs anyways, like, doing it for like an organization.
And what's your IG handle, brother, if there's, people that want to check out your artwork?
Oh, my shit's on private, eh?
Oh, okay, fair. No, respect, brother.
No, I have a photography like Instagram, but
yeah,
I have a personal Instagram.
Yeah. But your photography, is that private?
I think it's just like my name, like Sam, pretty much SAM. And then NGET.
There you go, guys.
That's my photography.
If you want to see some cool artwork, some cool pictures, my boy's right here.
Yeah.
And you know what, man? If we add that up, if we just run that a little bit, like, are you potentially going to look at like freelancing a little bit? I mean, do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I do like freelancing now. Upwork, which is like a platform where like restaurants and stuff, if they need design work and stuff, it's all remote, but it's what I can get.
So you've been doing that?
That's crazy. So I work at a dad's friend's cafe 3 times a week, and then Thursday, Friday, if I can get some Upwork contracts and stuff, I'll smash that up. That doesn't get much, so it's like $100 a week, if that. Sometimes I won't have anything. I'm also studying as well. So
but it's good to get your name out, man. That's the thing, right? And that's what I'm saying, man. Like,
I've built a portfolio and stuff.
Damn.
Like,
is that like a website or like
website portfolio? So when I applied for jobs and stuff, grad jobs and stuff, that's what I basically applied with.
Damn,
and I think that helped me with like getting a few interviews and
stuff. Yeah, and I mean to the people watching out there as well, like if you ever like need some artwork done or a logo, man, I've got to hit you up to get
bro. You need to work on your branding, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That shit looking lackluster.
Bro, no, I need to, man. I need to, yeah. So we have the crib at the moment, but yeah, I've got some of the artwork up with the weekend, man. He's it's a bit too much actually, but yeah, you know me and the weekend.
Working on it.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. We all can improve on stuff, like
baby steps, man.
Baby steps, brother. That's it. Like one thing for me is I know I got to work on, my artsy side and just the creative side. Because, I'll keep saying
not everyone's creative, but like not everyone has that like eye for
something different.
Yeah,
that's exactly. And you do, man. Yeah, that's the thing. So no, that's interesting, man. Like I think for me, like, and again, like my sort of take, and the next topic I'm going to probably touch on is, and you've mentioned your photography business as well, and like what you do with that, but is how important is a career for you? Like what's your definition of doing well in life? Like what do you attribute that to? Do you attribute that to having quote unquote a good job, like and being in a corporate job, or do you just attribute that to, I don't know, like your own definition of
so like success? Is that like how I define success?
Yeah, how you define success. Yeah.
So I come from very humble beginnings, so like we've obviously grown up with not having like a lot of stuff. Like, we couldn't afford a lot of things growing up. So my idea of like success to me is just like being able to experience certain things. So I'm not very I do like, fashion and stuff, but like I'm not overly obsessed with it and stuff. But my idea of like success is like if I can live comfortably and just enjoy my hobbies and like, not having to like worry about let's say the cost of living situation and stuff it's like inflation going up. That shit's crazy, bro. That shit's so expensive. But like, if I can get like my basic necessities done, if I can like just enjoy my hobbies and just have like income coming in and like, fostering my connections around me, like, maintaining my friendships. I probably like, that's it. I couldn't ask for any more. Like, dude, if you offer me $50,000 and I can make a difference in someone's life or $1 million, I'll probably take that $50,000 because like making other people happy and seeing other people do well makes me happier than having $1 million and buying that Lamborghini.
Sorry, so you said you say you'll choose to make the person happy as opposed to the 50.
Yeah, no, I would take $50,000 and like help other people. If you get what I mean?
Oh yeah, sorry. I said
as like a career. Let's say that's a career. $50,000.
Gotcha. Yeah,
or like a career that gives me $1 million. But
your purpose is helping people.
My purpose is like, I don't know, dead ass jobs, like not really like doing much, but have money coming in. Does that make kind of sense?
It does, man. Yeah, it does. The only thing that I was a bit confused by was like when you said you'd either pick the 50,000 or choose to help. But no, that makes sense.
My ESL's kicking in, bro. English second language.
No. Yeah. It's all Gucci, bro. It's all Gucci. That's respect, man. And I know that a lot of people will definitely, they won't even think that, right? They won't even think that for the second. Because, traditionally, like going back to, I guess, a bit of my background, like being brought up, like, in an Indian family, education was very important to us. Like it still is, right? And I know, like, going forward, like whenever I, get married and have kids, whenever that is, like that's also going to be pretty instilled, in my values and in my, in my family's values. And I think that, we've sort of had this pressure, and I'm grateful my parents didn't really do that with me, was that like you had to get like straight A's, you had to get like, 100% in your test because we want you to get like a good job. The old stereotype, become a doctor, lawyer, engineer.
It's not all immigrant parents.
Bro, I think that's all, bro. Yeah,
bro, my dad and stepmom is like the same.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So it's the same. Yeah.
So a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure, man. Yeah.
Especially when you're young as well. When it's like,
I see, man. Yeah.
I really want to.
No. Because the thing, and then I realize now, like looking back, like, I'm still grateful. Like, I've had fun in college. Don't get me wrong. Like we went to house parties, we went out, we went clubbing and all that, and it was great. But I just think it's interesting where, people actually end up like in life compared to like what they thought they would be like when they were younger. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a very big disparity there, right? Like, did I think of myself to be working in cybersecurity now? Hell no, man. No. Like I did a degree in finance and economics, right?
Yeah.
But I never saw myself being like, and again, I'm not criticizing public servants or anything like that, but I never saw myself just doing a 9 to 5 or like, being, I guess, a public servant.
Yeah.
I always saw myself as, I guess, doing something different. Or like the thing that really drives me is the thrill of not knowing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really like that feeling, like when you don't really know what's around the corner, but you've got a plan, but you don't know if it'll stick. So you got to keep working towards it. That's what drives me, if that's what it makes.
Yeah, right. So what did you want to like, career-wise back then? What did you want to like go in?
The thing is, man, I don't really know. The thing, because I know out of everyone, right, I probably went to uni straight away, like after year 12. I know a lot of people took gap years, right?
Yeah.
So then I graduated, I think a year or like even 2 years early, man. Like I finished uni at age 20. 21, sorry. So I started 2017. Yeah, so I would have been like 21, right? Like just turned 21 when I graduated. And then I was fortunate enough to get a grad job like before I finished, the grad assessments and all that. And that experience I'm really grateful for, because it was pretty much 18 months of just experimenting with different areas of the business. So I was like in consulting, I was in consult, but it was more like ICT cost reduction. Like if you're an organization like, and you're spending X amount of money on like hardware and software, do you really need that hardware and software to do your job? So I was doing that for about 6 months. Didn't really like it. I did a bit of business analysis. Like, whole part of the grad program is you get exposure to different areas, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't really finding anything that I was be like, yeah, like this is what I really love doing. Like I was just doing it for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And then in the last 6 months of my time at the first company I was at, we had a manager come in from a different company, and he worked in cybersecurity, and so it was a small IT company that I started at, and we were just building the cybersecurity capability, right? And I was like, heard this cyber word, and then he's like, as I was on the bench, right? So what that means is pretty much like if you're on the bench, like you're not making any money for a company. It's just like you're just doing admin tasks for other people until you get like an engagement, so you can start charging to the company, and then like you do the work for them. And then so we were trying to build a cyber business, right? And he's like, yeah, Rish, you're on the bench. Do you want to work in cyber? I'm like, yeah, 100%, but my background's not cybersecurity.
Yeah.
I don't have a degree in it. And he's like, he's still a mentor to me, man. And he's like, it's all right. Just work with me for 6 months. I've seen your work before. It's been pretty good.
Cyber's booming now as well.
It is, man. Yeah.
And I get bigger.
Bro, and the only thing that I knew was just the word cyber. I didn't know like the technical, aspects behind it. The
people normally come from like IT background.
They do, man. Yeah. And the thing is, and I'm really grateful that I'm in that industry now. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in cyber.
Bro, business is booming there.
It's good, man. That's one of the positive externalities for working in that industry, is that you're always learning. Yeah, the money's great. Don't get me wrong. But the thing is, I'm not, now that I've realized, and I talked about it in my other podcast, because in my previous role, I was making a lot of money, man, at the startup. But what I realized is that like now it's not about the money. It's more about actually knowing what I want and which area I want to work in.
Are you set on like cybersecurity?
I am set on it.
Yeah.
So like my main priority now is essentially to complete 2 industry certificates by the end of next financial year. And I'm going to try to do like whatever I can to get there.
Yeah.
So one of them, it's called a certified information security manager, and people that are in cyber, you know, obviously you know what that means, and it's not that hard to get. You just got to study for it. It's pretty much like a uni course in a way. It's about like 11 weeks of study. And then the other
like a semester.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much. And that's what the beauty of cyber is. Like, you don't necessarily need to have a bachelor's or a master's to be in the industry. But if you have hands-on experience,
that's more valuable.
That's more valuable, yeah. So yeah, to answer your question, man, like I really loved doing cyber in that last 6 months when I was sort of working in that sort of area. And then, you know, I had an opportunity at a different firm, and then, you know, as time moved forward, you know, I sort of learned the skills and decided I could be beneficial to another company and moved on to that.
Yeah.
And now now, you know, I'm really enjoying where I'm at the moment. So it's good, man.
Yeah, for me personally, well, since God dang,
damn, bro. Bit of technical difficulties, bro.
OG.
All good, bro. Yeah.
I've always I was pretty determined early on that I wanted to do something involving like photography, videography, or like design, something creative like that. So that's why I chose my degree, communications and media. And like, you know, I'm grateful now that I'm kind of been slowly doing it over the last couple of years, and now leading to this job that I'm going to start next year. It's pretty much like doing that as well. So yeah, like just grateful for just, you know, staying on this path, and it's like a path that I enjoy. Like I do it like in my free time, not just as a work thing as well. So you know, I'm super grateful for, you know, that.
Yeah. 100%, man, 100%. And I think, you know, it's great that you're following what you actually want to do, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that
you know, we change as humans. Like what I'm doing now,
you might not want to do in like 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that. Like I'm still the same, man. Like I'm still figuring it out.
Ride the wave, man.
That's it, man. Yeah. So like that sort of brings me to the next sort of point, and I feel like you've got a lot to talk about, but that's more regarding travel and like what you've done so far in terms of exploring the world, and like even, you know, going on hikes, going on new adventures.
Yeah.
I've always aspired to do that, like, or just to find places to go.
Yeah.
And then I just love like how you just go, man, and you just go by yourself. Like, bro, even when you had that van, man, that was crazy. Like,
that was crazy, like, I regret selling that.
Bro, that shit was crazy.
Oh man, I love that van. Man. But just because like I said, growing up as an only child, you kind of become comfortable with like spending time alone and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if I like wanted to go on a hike, I'm just like, try to go by myself. Like, you know, don't need anyone to come.
Yeah.
Trust me, it would be nice if someone came with me, obviously. Because like, you know, don't get me wrong, bro. Don't get me.
No, he spent 4 hours by himself.
Dude, don't get me wrong, like, you know, it's cool to sometimes share that experience with someone else, like whether it be a friend, your girlfriend, your dad, you know. But still, like, I can comfortably just like go away for a weekend down the coast, have a camp, like just by myself comfortably.
That's crazy, because I want to talk about that recent trailer or movie you posted on Instagram, because I watched that and I really liked it.
What was it?
It was like, I think 2 days ago or 3 days
ago. I kind of remember the script. It was about just trying a lot of different things. And like, you know, not being scared to try something because you have preconceived ideas of like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I didn't start at this age and stuff. But, you know, I think you know,
let's touch that.
It's good to, you know, you can't let those preconceived ideas about yourself dictate the way you live life. You kind of just have to kind of break through those barriers and chains and just like try. That's how I got into pretty much like running, cycling and stuff, because you know, I thought I wasn't fit enough to, you know, get into cycling, or couldn't run this fast, so I just didn't bother trying. But I just kept going at it every day, and now I love it. Like,
bro.
Cycling's like my main hobby.
Man. Like when I was having a chat with you, I was like, "Oh, bro, what are you up to this weekend?" It's like, "Oh, bro, I'm just going for a casual, like, what is it, like 20 kilometer or something like that?"
100 kilometer,
bro. Get out of this, like 100 kilometer ride, bro.
If you cycle though, that's like that's like, pretty normal.
I don't
That's
think
what
so.
you do, bro.
Nah,
That's what you do.
that shit next level, bro.
Because because I'm training for like bike races and
100
stuff,
kilometers, mate.
and they're like 180 kilometers and stuff, 300 kilometers. So
Shit, man. No,
yeah,
that's crazy.
it's just like, sometimes you got to get out of our comfort zone
and just do things, man.
just do things. And like
yeah.
that's with me. Like another thing was like surfing. Like one big factor with me was like I didn't really grow up by the beach, growing up in Canberra, so I didn't have like, it's pretty fucking boring here.
Yeah.
It's like nothing to do, but I love it now.
But I love it now as well, bro.
Like
it's the same. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Going older, I'm like, man, Canberra's not bad,
bro. Like, when you realize like going from one side to the other is like a 30-minute drive, bro. Like, oh man,
so
like
easy,
that's
man.
so good, man. Yeah.
So yeah,
No.
but yeah, like wasn't really exposed to the water, but so I was a bit timid getting into surfing and stuff. But I had a few friends
because you can surf now, right? As well.
Right? They're decent, like not the best.
But you
like,
get by.
I get like stand up maybe for like 10 seconds. Then
that's That's
especially with the shoulder injury and stuff.
Oh,
like
that's right.
Coming back from that, but I want to get back into it. But
that's lit, bro.
Before I was super nervous to like get into it because like. I wasn't really exposed to it. I didn't have many friends who surf. Like I had a few, but I had like these preconceived ideas in my head, like, oh, I didn't start when I was 10 years old. Oh, I didn't start when I was like this and that. This, but like once I like started to just go break down those barriers and try to look for, I don't know, people who look like me, like who surfed as well, like made me feel pretty comfortable. That's picking it up.
That's great, man. Yeah, that's great. And I think now like the beach has become a big part of your life now.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at your tattoos, bro.
Yeah, so nature shit, bro. So animals and stuff.
Yeah,
nature sick, boy.
They look good, man. They look good. Yeah. No, that's crazy, man. Yeah. So, and I like next, bro. Like for real, like next time you hit the coaster, bro. I haven't been in like 2 years, man. So I need to get back out there. I love the water as well myself. And I think to your point as well. Just I really like that video because it just says, go out of your comfort zone. Don't conform to the norm, which is sort of why I'm doing this, right? This podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I think you definitely got a lot of great things coming. You've got a lot of aspirations that you still want to tick off, right? And yeah, I think it's pretty interesting how you've always you always sort of know what you want, but you're very like, I'll take it as it comes, sort of thing. Like don't go too far ahead. And yeah, I guess like the other thing I want to touch on is like at this point in your life, like and again, this is probably a bit personal, you don't need to answer if you don't want, but like, do you sort of feel that like you need, like you'd want to have a partner now, or you're still sort of like figuring out like who you are, or like, you think at this point in life, you just sort of,
I just take it as it comes, So I think, I just turned 25 recently. I'm still like learning, like, recently was like March, April, I turned 25. It's been a couple of months, but like, I think I've definitely matured a lot now. And like I said, I'm more sure of like who I am as a person, but to say like I'm actively like looking for a partner, it's like I'm not really actively looking for one. If the moment comes, it comes, like, but I can meet someone tomorrow and that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. we done it.
I can meet someone like 3 years later down the road. But there's no timeline when like,
I love that, man.
When I want to find a partner, but like, if someone were to come in like now, I would say I'm pretty like comfortable with like who I am.
You'd be open to it
as a person, and I'll be open to it.
Oh, interesting.
But me 5 years ago, I wasn't looking for that.
You were, or you weren't?
I weren't.
You weren't.
Like, young. Trying to like figure out like what you want out of the person. Still seeing different girls and stuff.
Yeah.
But like now, like you're comfortable with who you are as a person, and you kind of know what you want out of the other person as well. So, if the right one comes tomorrow, like I said, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
But like,
yes.
Just go with the flow.
And like, have you like dated like sort of like every now and then? Like, have you had like previous girlfriends before?
So I don't have like a lot of experience, but I've had like one or two where it's been like like I would say like my longest relationship was like 1 year.
Damn.
But
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Might have been a situation where like the girl's like here for like
Just
to
the right.
camp,
Yeah.
and then she has to like move somewhere else.
Oh, I see.
So it's more like a situation.
Situationship.
You still grow like feelings for.
That's it. Yeah. No, that's interesting, man. Yeah,
spend a lot of time together and
that's
stuff.
true, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, because with me, one thing that I always tell people is like I feel like you need to have a heartbreak to really understand what you want out of a partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I still remember my man. Yeah, like I've probably been in two relationships, as you know, like one. But both of them ended mutually, right? Like we're still friends, which is good. But like that, what those two taught me was like, firstly, I wasn't really ready for one. You know what I'm saying? Like it was good, like while it was lasted, but as you said, it was more of a situationship. We would be seeing each other, seeing how things went, and it was a good ride. But I think, like sort of focusing more long term now. I think it's important to firstly know what your priorities are in life. And I'm the same, man. If it happens, it happens. If everyone's working on their own timeline, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm sure like I've seen high school sweethearts, bro. Like people that dated in like year 7, they end up getting married. You know what I'm saying? Like that's hats off to them. But like at the same time, I like question. I'm like, if you didn't go down that road, could you have been experiencing so much other stuff like not necessarily as a single person, but just as a person in general, like just meeting new people, getting
different experiences, different perspectives.
That's different, instead of just I guess being locked down to one person. So I think experiences teach you a lot about yourself. That's just what my main point is.
Yeah, plus like when you grow older, like you said, your priorities change and stuff, and in Canberra, I found it hard to relate to a lot of girls because coming from like a diverse background, being from Southeast Asia, there weren't many girls who looked like me. So, there's only
a couple,
like the girls I dated, like they were a background that wasn't mine, but they've been exposed to Asian culture and stuff. Like one girl, she did exchange in Indonesia.
Okay. Yeah.
And so she understood some of like the values in like our cultural thing.
Yeah.
So it was easy to. That's why we got along so much because like she was exposed to those environments and stuff. So it's hard to build that connection coming from people like me and you. To other girls. Yeah.
Bro, I'll let you finish, but you touched on like a thing that just triggered me that I wanted to ask you straight away, which is like, do you like, because in my opinion for this thing changed over time now as well.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's a lot easier dating someone from your same culture as opposed to like a different culture? Because I feel like now you understand, and as you rightly said, just having someone that can relate to Southeast Asian culture, right?
Yeah.
Where you come from, it's just like
it makes things like a lot easier, but it's also it's up to them, like if the girl's not from our culture, to be open-minded and like readily to want to know more about our culture. And if they're really like into us, they'll want to learn.
True.
But it is easier to like date someone from our culture because they already know like what's not like what's expected, but they already know like the customs,
the
traditions, like respect and stuff is sheep speak in both our cultures.
Yeah, both our cultures.
They
respect the elders, right?
Respect the elders and stuff. So, how they move through life is like
100%.
Kind of like built around that and stuff. So, yeah.
No, that's interesting.
But, I'd date anyone.
You're not going to like say, have to be Cambodia or something.
I'm a very open-minded person. Like, I love exploring new cultures.
I'm the same, man.
So, yeah.
Yeah, interesting, man. I think, it's interesting. Like, I've sort of, and again, this is, I guess, going back to what we were talking about, like finding ourselves or like our identity was like, I was, especially my younger years, man, like maybe through high school. So I was like, I didn't want to associate myself as like sort of being Indian in the way. Like I wanted to get away from like, you know, the culture, you know, and like the curry and like all the stereotypes. Right?
Dude, kids can be mean though, bro.
Oh,
like in high school, man. Bro.
Yeah,
like,
I'll be honest, man.
I remember like now I think every Asian immigrant has a story like this where they'll bring like a certain type of food. Like you have you ever brought curry to school?
Nah. Okay. No. I brought rice. Sorry, rice and curry. Yeah, you can say it's curry. Yeah, I did.
You just bring something weird to school, and the
like
kids,
they're not normal. Yeah,
yeah, and the kids will be like, "Oh, what's that smell?
Oh yeah,
what's that look like?" I'm just like, I won't eat my lunch.
I know, man.
Like, you know, like shit like that.
And that's what makes you like question yourself, right?
Exactly. It's like,
yeah,
why can't I just be who I am? Like that's who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
It starts from like, you know, the parenting and stuff. Like, you know. But that was identity is definitely like an issue we face as immigrant child.
Yeah, no, 100%, man, 100%.
So
and again, like, you know, I'm so I'm so happy and like grateful that I do, you know, obviously come from where I come from. Because now what I found interesting, man, is like how do I say, like the Western world now, they're actually very much into Indian culture now, especially like they see the Bollywood marriages, bro, you know, and that's really big in our culture.
Because it's the media has a lot to play with it.
100%.
Like 100%. With like exposure to other cultures in the mainstream media, like a lot of like A24 is one of my like favorite movie studios, and one of their recent movies was I forgot the name. Everything.
What was it? Movie studio?
Yeah, A24. So they put out like a lot of indie films, and a lot of their but they're pretty big.
Yeah.
But a lot of their films, they show a lot of diversity and stuff, and you know, when there's diversity and proper representation in the media, that has a positive effect for people like you and I. Like, you know, Bruce, back in like the 60s and 70s, Hollywood, or they were showing Asian men as like weak, like feminine, and the only thing that we were good at was kung fu because of Bruce Lee. So that's all we got associated with.
Yeah.
But now there's male lead actors in big Hollywood movies, so that gives like proper representation, and we're kind of viewed in like a different way now.
Yeah, dude, that's really interesting. And you're right, media has a big thing because like Slumdog Millionaire, right? Everyone knows that movie.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the worst movies to portray like how India is, because like it portrayed it as like such a negative country where, you know, like there weren't like, which obviously socioeconomically there are a lot of very poor people there, but like that's not all what India's very beautiful in a lot of senses. There's a lot of places that you don't see in the media that people would love to go to and do go to, but that wasn't portrayed in the movie. It was just like the slums or like the poor villages or those areas. And like I still remember, like I only see that movie once, but Dev Patel, the actor, he's such a great actor as well. And I think, dude, that was the movie that really kickstarted his career as well, man. He's killing it now. And people always said like I look like him, which I don't think the case. That's the case.
Okay.
Yeah,
but it looks the same, eh?
Yeah. Always the same. That's it, bro. Yeah. But no. Back to my point. Like I think, you're right. It's funny. I think media does portray it, but I think now a lot of, as I said, the Western world, they're more connecting with our cultures, right? Like, you know, Southeast Asian cultures, like Cambodian cultures, Indian cultures, because. I mean, there's no lie, bro. Like, there's a lot of us around the world, right? So we're going to have a lot of influence in terms of like the way society functions, but like the cultural norms and like, because if you think about it, like if we bring something new to the table, which we do, like in my case, it's probably like a marriage sort of like in a Hindu culture is very different to what it would be like in a, I guess in a non-Hindu like cultural family, or like as a white wedding, right? So when like someone, I guess, like from the Western world will come to like an Indian wedding, they're just gonna be like, "Damn, this is crazy! Like 7 days of partying. I'm treated like a king." Well, bro, we do it so different, man. Yeah, no, you pulling up, bro, for real.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but anyway, like, yeah, they're like, "Damn, what the heck? 7 days of partying?"
Because they're fascinated. It's different. Like,
it's different, bro, and that's what I love about it. Like, we always bring something different, right?
As long as people are open-minded.
That's it, man. 100%. So no,
we only grow together.
That's it, 100%. All for one, bro. That's for sure. Yeah, man. No, that's dope, bro. Like, I think we definitely talked a lot about our culture and where we come from, and as well as like what you truly value in life and what you really want to do, right? So yeah, man. Like, was there anything you sort of wanted to ask me? I know we've talked a lot about stuff.
Did you growing up in like Australia?
Yeah.
How did your family like kind of? I guess like so, is family like a big part of like who you are as a person? Like say if you're like moving like overseas somewhere, like do you think of I don't want to leave my father, I don't want to leave my mother behind kind of thing?
Yeah, that's
like, is that a big decision factor?
Yeah, dude, that's a very interesting question. My mindset was like that for a very long time, for sure. More recently, like last 2 years, now that I've seen, thankful to God that like, career's going pretty well at this stage, everything's sort of sorting itself out. I think I'm ready to make that jump for sure and move overseas and just like do my own thing. But also, as I said, like, and we didn't talk about this much, but like, again, like spirituality, I'm very big on that now. So I feel like I'm very connected to the gods that I believe in. And I think that even if I do move out, which is what I want to do 100% eventually.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll tell you another, I was actually literally going to move to Sydney. I had it all approved at my previous workplace.
You're saying,
I think I told you, and then I got really sick there because I partied too hard. I went to hospitals, but anyway, that's a different story.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, that's a different story, man. But
too many vodka shots.
Oh, bro, man, it was a good time for sure, man. Just hitting up Ivy and all these other clubs, man. It was lit. But yeah, no. To answer your question, I think now I am a lot more comfortable making that decision.
Yeah.
The only thing is that like. Initially, I really want to move to Canada, man, because I was there recently for my cousin's wedding, and I just love the country, man. The people, the culture, the food, everything, man. And to be honest, it's not too different to Australia, and there's a lot of Australians that actually live there recently and they have migrated there. But then I thought to myself, I'm like, and I've got family there as well, which is another positive. So like, if I need anything, like there's family there as well for sure. But then I thought to myself, I'm like, Australia's like sort of growing on me. Even Canberra, like just being here is just growing on me.
Yeah, right.
The next city that I'd want to move to, and I've sort of set a bit of a mental goal, is again, I want to get those 2 cyber certificates that I mentioned. But then after that, it's either Brisbane or Melbourne for sure.
Yeah, right.
And with the work, like where I'm at the moment, like, getting sort of like an internal transfer is like pretty easy. Like it's not too hard.
Yeah.
So that's definitely on the cards for sure, man. But I feel like, honestly, I'll have my time for sure. Like, going out, having fun or whatever, just being in a new environment.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would always return to Canberra though.
Yeah.
Like 2 years, 1 year or 2 years down the
line. I always wanted to go to Melbourne just because there's a lot more like diversity. Yeah. Culture there.
Bro, did you move out of Canberra for some time or you were always?
I was always in Canberra. But like
you went traveling, right, for a period.
Yeah. But I was in Canberra.
Damn. Wait. So did you took a gap year, right? After
gap year, went traveling.
That's crazy.
Worked and traveling.
How long did you like?
Oh, it was only like the gap year or the travel?
Yeah. Oh, like so the travel.
But the gap year was only like a year, but I worked most of it and just traveled for a month.
Damn, that was crazy. So where'd you go? You went to like Thailand?
Thailand, just backpacking. It's like the whole.
How was that experience,
bro? It was good. Yeah, it was definitely was it? I was 19, 18 years old.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Different mindset. Like going there, you're just trying to like,
meet people, bro. That's it.
Yeah, meet people, just like enjoy. But I'm planning to go back next year. Gonna go back obviously with a different mindset because like you're a lot more mature. You're gonna like take it in more and kind of like spiritual, experience the culture and stuff. And so I want to go to like Vietnam or somewhere in Southeast Asia.
Have you been to Cambodia recently? Or
I've been to Cambodia once, but it was only briefly.
Oh, were you like pretty little?
Yeah. So I'm planning to go back next year with my dad.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm gonna go see where my mother was buried. I've never seen that. So yeah, we're gonna go to my birthplace and I'm gonna pay for him like as a trip.
Oh, my man.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like
giving back, bro.
Giving back kind of thing. Like it's gonna be like a father and son trip.
That's gonna be good, man.
I'm gonna pay for his flights, take him home to Cambodia.
Look after him.
Yeah, I'll make a film with that.
Yeah, that's
like a little documentary as well. Yeah, I'm gonna try to submit it to like a film festival.
I love that, man. So from that information you just shared with me, like it seems like you're pretty close with Dad.
Yeah, because I'm pretty close, and like I'm gonna move out next year again. I went back home to live with him just to recover.
Save
myself up. Bro, but I'm gonna move out next year. But even if I move to like Sydney or Melbourne,
the connection's still there, bro.
No, the plan is to always have him nearby because he's all I got.
Yeah,
we have no family here. We have family friends, sure, but him and I is like all we got. So I can't like really like go too far just because no one's gonna look after him and no one's gonna be like, hey, what's up? Like check up on him and stuff. So I always feel like I owe him like that.
That went from 0 to 100 real quick.
So I can't just like leave him like like I'll move away from the house, but he'll never be too far away from me.
Damn, bro.
So so that's like every time I move somewhere, I always think about my dad.
Wow.
So
damn, that's deep, man. No, I love that, bro. Yeah, and I think it's so important to have a connection with your family because at the end of the day, that's all we got.
Yeah, right? That's all you got, especially when it's just him and I.
100%.
I don't have any cousins. No cousins here.
Damn.
My dad was adopted.
Oh, okay.
But he knows like his family, but he's not too close to them.
Fair enough.
Because his dad gave him up because his dad had too many kids, so he just like gave him up to like one of our aunties and stuff.
Damn, bro.
And plus, they're like super poor back home, so it's hard to like get connected with them because they don't have like phone numbers and stuff.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Part of my history, I just don't know a lot about.
Damn.
So that's why
that's really interesting.
I put a lot of emphasis on keeping my dad
close to you. I love that, man. And I think, as you get older, you realize that connection more, right?
Yeah.
When we were 18, 19, bro, like we weren't different
wild,
mindset, man. Bro. We were wild. Yeah, just go out, have fun,
Go out. But like you said, as you grow older, your priorities change. Life changes.
The other big personal thing that I've done is I've stopped alcohol, man. Like for years. And I know you stopped it as well, right?
I stopped. I stopped, but
yeah.
So I would go like 4 months without drinking.
Yeah.
But then like if someone offers like a drink at a bar, I only have one.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So for me, it's like complete cold turkey, bro.
Damn.
And that's just because like I made a mindset that I want to spend these next 12 months. So December this year. Oh, sorry, no, February next year. That like just focus on the gym, focus on my fitness, focus on what I'm eating. And it's funny because when I still go out, bro, like, if there's occasions like, I'll go, to bars and stuff, but I'm always like not drinking. Mm-hmm. And what I find is people find that so weird, bro. Like I'm going, they're like, bro, you not have a shot. I'm like, nah, bro.
It's weird how alcohol is like so normalized.
It's crazy because I'm honestly like the first time I went out sober, like not drinking, I was like, this shit's weird, bro. Like I was like, nah, I'm not vibing it. Yeah. But then I went out again and again because I have another friend of mine that I always go with. He's like, because of his religion, he doesn't drink as well. And then I kept doing it with him. And eventually, like, it's the best thing ever, bro. Because what I realized is you don't need alcohol to have the confidence to have a good time.
Nah.
And people rely on alcohol to give them confidence to have a good time. If that makes sense.
It's like a social lubricant.
Bro,
like, you don't need
100%. So once I realized, that's another thing, man. Like, I feel so much healthier. Brain's a lot sharper as well, generally. And these are just small things that I've just generally noticed. Because even when I was drinking, it's like I was just drinking just socially, right, on a Friday night or Saturday or whatever, but not like to the point where you just get blasted drunk. Right?
Nah, bro.
But yeah, it's just I've noticed a lot of body changes as well. Like I'm putting on some weight, putting on some size as well.
What got you into that mindset? What shifted?
It's more like it's just I want to test my body out, man. That's the main thing. Like I want to see how far I can take my body.
Yeah, you want to reach your potential.
That's it, man. Yeah. And the other thing is like from an acting point of view as well. Like I like for getting like specific, gigs and experiences. It's always good to just I guess look a little bit buff. I feel like now I'm at like around. I think last time I was at like 67. I think 64, 66. Wow. 66, sorry, 66.
Hack on, bro.
Bro, like
you're heavier than me, bro.
3 months ago, bro, I was at like 60. 4 months, I was at like 62, I think. 62.
Yeah, right.
So my goal weight is like 70 to like 75.
Are you like bulking?
Yeah, I'm bulking, bro.
And then you're gonna cut? Is that how?
The thing is, like, once I hit that target, I'm just gonna maintain. So like cut, but like because I have a high metabolism. Like if I cut, I know that I'm just gonna lose a lot of that weight probably quickly.
So you eat and it goes straight out.
That's it, bro. Yeah.
Same, bro.
So a lot of it's just water weight, bro. So it's like again, like we can just talk about this, but essentially, I'm on creatine, right? So like, and anyone who's on creatine,
okay, steroids, guys.
So it's like with creatine, you got to at least have 3.5 liters of water. Yeah. Probably 3.5 to 4. So
I'm be pissing every hour,
bro. I'm pissing like every hour, bro. So I have like a 2-liter bottle. I just go through like 1.5 of that.
Yeah.
Or try to go through that. But as I said, a lot of it's water weight. So if I just drink a lot of water, I'll notice that I'll gain like a kilo or 2, like in 3 days.
Yeah.
But that's all water weight because then if I stop having that water intake, your weight goes back to like the original amount. So yeah, man, that's just a bit of like science, and it's just good for muscle retention as well. Just drinking a lot of water. The negative side is, bro, I'm getting a bit of a gut, but that's just because
drinking too much water.
Yeah,
creatine.
Yeah, so drinking water and also eating a lot. So like, what I'm doing is like just working out abs every day at the gym, just to like sort of get that tonus, but not necessarily 6-pack, but just to tone that area. Because at the end of the day, it just all gets there, bro.
That's the planks, bro.
That's it, bro. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
But like, yeah, once I hit that weight, man, I just want to see what I look like, man, in February 2023, man.
Is that your like goal?
Yeah. 2023, bro. Different man, bro.
Yeah, bro. You're gonna be looking like this.
That's it, bro. This, bro. That's it.
Admiring, bro.
Nah, yeah. So yeah, that's it, man. And yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
That's good, man. Like, man, you don't need alcohol. No. Even though your parties don't need it.
Nah, bro. No. And again, I'm not like criticizing people that.
No, obviously,
like 100% anyone. But
people have their own ways of living.
Yeah. But it's what I've realized is, I don't like. You don't need alcohol to have a good time.
Yeah.
You save a shit ton of money,
bro. It's so expensive, especially now.
Yeah, bro.
I remember like. I had like one beer. I was at Milton. It's like a coastal town.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Our friend Carl and
yeah.
We went on like a hike.
Nice.
And, the beer was like $12.
God damn, like
this
that
much.
Damn.
It's so
what's the living going on?
She's a liquid gold, man.
Damn, bro. Yeah, pricey for sure. Anyways, brother, I think that's a wrap, man. On that note, bro, you've brought a lot to this conversation. I've certainly learned a lot about you, man.
Yeah.
And likewise, sharing your experiences, as an immigrant, coming from that background and just really not really knowing who you were until as you got older, you figured that out.
Yeah.
And I think it was really important where you touched on, elements of making sure that you stay true to who you are. And also how your friend circle also influenced you to a degree where, you're still grateful that you're in contact with them. And then most importantly, finalizing on your photography skills and, you're having your own business doing that, man. I think that's great. And I can't wait to see where that goes, bro. For real.
Thanks for having me on. And just hopefully, blow this shit up, blow this podcast up all the way up.
Thanks, brother. That's it. That's a wrap. That's episode done with Real Talks with Rish. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, until next time, I don't know when I'll drop the next episode, but whenever that is, hope to see you guys tune in. Cheers.
Be good humans.